In this spreadsheet, we would like to write a formula in cell C7 to determine the student's letter grade based on their percentage grade. In cells B1 to B5, we have a list of percentages, and in cells C1 to C5, we have a list of letter grades. In cell C7, we have the if function that will determine this letter grade based on the percentage. We have an embedded if. We have a range, so if we have an embedded if with a range, we can start with the highest value and check from highest to lowest, or start with the lowest value and go from lowest to highest. In this case, we are starting with the highest value. So in cell B7, we have the percentage grade 55%. If 55% is greater than or equal to what the contents of cell B5, which is 90%, we would display C5. However, it's false. So we will evaluate the next if statement. If B7, which is 55%, is greater than or equal to the contents of cell B4, B4 has 80%. If that is true, we will display the contents that are in cell C4. However, that is false, so we will come to the next if statement. If B7, which contains the percentage 55%, is greater than or equal to B3, B3 has 70% in it. If that is true, it will display whatever is in cell C3, and that happens to be the letter C. However, that is false, so it will come and evaluate the next if. If B7, if the 55% is greater than or equal to B2, B2 has 60% in it. If that is true, it will display the contents of cell C2, which is the letter D. If all of this is false, we will display the letter E, which is in cell C1. Sometimes when writing your formulas and functions, especially complicated ones, you do not get the results you anticipate. Excel has a feature that shows you how your formula is evaluated. To access this feature, click on the cell you would like to evaluate. I'm clicking on cell C7. Click on the Formulas tab and click on Evaluate Formula. As I click the Evaluate button, I will step through the flow of my function. For example, I click on the Evaluate button. If 55% is greater than or equal to whatever's in cell B5, which is 90%, that is false, so it will evaluate the next if. If 55% is greater than or equal to whatever's in cell B4, which is 80%, if that is true, it would display the contents of C4. However, that is false, so it goes to the next if, and so forth. You should take some time to explore this feature. In this worksheet, I have a list of properties. I also have the current rent for each property. What I'd like to do is calculate a rate increase for each property. The rate increase is shown in rows 2 and 3. If the current rent is between $0 and $700, there will be a 7% rate increase. If the rent is between $701 and $1,000, the rate increase will be 5%. If it's greater than $1,000, the rate increase will be 3%. In cell C5, I'm going to determine the rent with the rate increase using an if function. Because I have a range again, I need to check it from lowest to highest or highest to lowest. In this case, I'm just going to check from highest to lowest. Equals if the current rent is greater than $1,000, the rate increase will be 3%. If the current rent is greater than $700, the rate increase will be 5%. Otherwise, the rate increase will be 7%. I have the percentage of the rate increase, but now I need to get the actual rent with the increase. So I multiply by B5, which is the current rent, and then I add the current rent to get the rent with the rate increase. Because I'm copying this down, I need to anchor in the 3 in the cell reference D3, the 3 in the cell reference C3, and the 3 in the cell reference B3.